Hi guys, and welcome back to the Nail on Sunday podcast with me, Chris, and my beautiful wife, who could potentially be my Juliet in our Newcastle. We're just back from my house viewing. It's Rebecca. Hi, darling.
Hi.
I've just realised I have yellow stuff all over my hands because we've just had some lunch. And it's probably stained because the thing that we've eaten for lunch is spicy.
Spicy rice.
Hi, darling.
Hi.
Do you want to talk about the house just now? Oh, you want to just go straight into it?
Well, what else have we been up to?
What else have you been up to this week, honey? Not a lot, just working, blah, 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 blah.
Just testing lots of products. That's it. Nothing
Okay.
else to do.
Okay. I want to talk about this house because the time this podcast comes out, it's probably be off the market.
Yeah, we probably haven't bought it.
We've probably tried to buy it and it's...
Do you think? You really liked it.
Do you know what? There it is. Let's just say the word. I can't remember what the word is. A tutory?
Oh, situtory.
Situtory.
If you guys have ever heard of the word situtory, I don't even know if we're saying this right because I don't even know if the guy... No, I looked it up.
It is.
Situtory.
Situtory.
It's like, imagine, you're in America, right? And you're in the South and you have a house with a porch and rocking chairs on it. Imagine the Scottish version of that. So it's upstairs where it's warm and it's on the side of the house and it's completely enclosed with glass.
Yeah.
So it's like an enclosed balcony.
It is. Would you put rocking chairs in it?
Oh yeah, there was one rocking chair in there.
All right.
Or maybe just two really comfy
Chairs.
chairs.
In fact, these chairs.
These chairs, but with stable legs, not swirly.
Yeah.
It would literally only fit two chairs. So this house was believed to have had design input from Charles Rennie Mackintosh.
I thought he built it. No? I thought that was the whole...
No, so Charles Rennie Mackintosh was employed as a assistant by the company who built it.
Okay.
There's a lot of little Charles Rennie Mackintosh isms, and there's a couple of really cool drawings. We're making it sound like this is like a £1 million house. It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Would you say it's actually quite good value for money?
It's very good value for money. But what I want to explain first is that the west coast of Scotland, if this house was anywhere else than the west coast of Scotland, and I mean anywhere else in the UK, it would probably be like over £1 million for sure.
Yeah, especially south of the border.
Oh yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
But west coast of Scotland, you have never seen value for money like it. There was a 16-bedroom house that we saw recently. We didn't go to see it. We saw it in Rightmove in Lanark.
Yes.
And it was like £900,000. And it was...
huge.
Oh my God. It was nearly 7,000 square feet. Like you can't imagine how big this house is.
Absolutely huge.
Anyway, so yeah, it was very cool. It was very sympathetically done on the inside. The woman apparently, so the estate agent said 400,000 times.
Ursula.
Is that her name?
That's her name.
Bought everything from charity shops. So it was so tasteful. Like everything was as you would expect.
The funny thing is, I don't really have taste when it comes to like the furniture and stuff like that. I know what I like in terms of, like I can walk into a kitchen and go, I like this kitchen. Because I think most people can get a kitchen. In terms of dressing a room, I don't think I could potentially do it.
That's hard. Yeah,
That's
I
hard.
agree. It's hard.
And I think the way she's done it, I think it's just nice.
Very good. And it was a doctor's surgery. It was built for a doctor in 1898.
Yeah.
And it's got some cool little doctor surgery isms.
Yeah. One thing I would say is the garage is going to potentially be an issue. Now, me personally, I want like a triple garage or a quad garage, something like that.
Not to put cars in.
Not to put cars in, just to put me in and tools and stuff like that. This has a garage, but realistically, we'd probably just turn the garage into a gym.
Yeah.
So one thing I would like to be able to do is to build like a garage outside somewhere, you know?
It's not in like the nicest area in the world either.
It's not, and I think that's a problem. Again, one of the problems you've got with Scotland is you can have a really, really nice house with nice grounds, and it's in a scheme.
Like we were showing, when we were away with Lucy Pastorelli and her sister Katie, we were showing, because they were both in the midst of buying houses and flats and stuff. And we were showing Katie what you could get in Scotland. And for the same price, she was like, I can't even get a 2-bedroom flat for that in London. No, I can't even get a 2-bedroom flat. And you can literally live in a castle on the west coast of Scotland for nothing.
Yeah.
It's actually mad. Yet, new build houses, expensive.
This is why I keep saying it's good value for money, because the house we currently are in just now, we bought relatively cheap.
No, very cheap.
Okay, we bought very cheap. We bought very good.
We did buy very good.
Thankfully, somebody was getting a divorce and we just swooped in and stole their house, so we didn't pay a lot for it. One thing I will say is one of the members of staff are thinking of moving around the corner from us, and they're going to pay more for a tiny house than we did.
They're going to pay more for a house half the size of ours.
Yeah.
than we did at the time. But that was nearly 12 years ago.
And we were only
planned to live there for 1 year.
Yeah, so we were just moving in because it was cheap, and we were going to move out and try and make some money off
12
it.
years.
Needless to say, we're almost mortgage free, and we're going to take on a big mortgage again.
The problem is, we don't really have the time to move, and Chris and I are so unemotional. We're actually very unemotional people.
Yep.
So when it comes to moving house, it's not. I don't think we're ever going to see a house and be like, okay, I say we're unemotional unless it comes to animals, guys. That is where all of our emotions are focused.
And Laura.
I don't think we're ever going to see any house and feel passionate about it and be like, that's the one. That is the one for us. So it's so hard, and that makes it really hard to know whether we should go for it or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. We're never gonna feel that way. We're never gonna be like, this is our forever house. This is perfect. We're never gonna feel that.
It's definitely not a forever house.
But no house is gonna be. No, it's not ever gonna be. You keep saying, unless we build it.
Yeah.
But we still wouldn't feel emotional or passionate about that house.
Yeah.
We'd probably feel irritation by the time it had been finished, because there'd be so many things. But yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of hard.
Nice house. One thing I would say is we live in it was a new build when we bought it. We bought it like 2 years after it was built.
Yeah.
It fell apart, basically, because it's a new build.
So now we want an old house, which is working in our favour, because currently, particularly on the west coast of Scotland, I don't know about anywhere else, but particularly here, old houses, we're talking houses of 100 years plus, seem to be going for a lot less comparatively to the new builds.
Yeah. You're talking, realistically, these houses should be way more value, but they're maybe only like 100, 150 grand more than a brand new house.
Yeah, like a brand new house, it's just a lot smaller.
That's what I was going to say. It might have 4 bedrooms, but those bedrooms will be tiny.
Oh my God, look at our house right now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
The size of the rooms. Yeah, the size of the rooms in the house that we just saw.
That master room was huge.
That bedroom, I'm not even lying when I say this, 4 times the size of my current bedroom.
Yeah, easily.
Easily. In fact, maybe more.
Yeah.
In fact, no, it's more. It's more. Probably closer to 6 times.
Which is wild.
But my bedroom is tiny. And you guys are probably thinking, hang on, Rebecca, your bedroom? We've never addressed this on the podcast. Chris and I have separate bedrooms. Now, a lot of you might think that's weird. Some of you who know the know will be like, haha, yeah, you guys get it. Let me tell you right now, having separate bedrooms, there's a reason that old people do it, right? There's a reason it was a thing back in the day. And these people had long marriages.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got a question, which is, where do people put their shit when they share a bedroom? Especially a bedroom with rooms that are that bloody small.
I'll tell you what, they are very unhappy with each other, probably because each other's stuff is on top of each other's stuff.
We also have very different sleeping routines.
I'll say Rebecca and I were friends before we became an item, so we shared a flat, which we had separate rooms, so it kind of made sense that it just continued that way, because we do have our own space. And
we just have different ways. Like, Chris gets up really early, I don't.
By no choice of my own. Dakota this morning, 5:22. Whoa, Dad, time to get up. Let's get up. You know, and it's a Saturday morning, and surprisingly, it was dry this morning. It's not been the last week. And I would quite happily have just lay in bed for a little bit, but no, he had other plans. So, and Dakota is very proud. He will not poo in his own garden. No, sir. Whereas Bailey will poo in the house. Dackie will not poo in his own garden. He must go for a walk to do a poo, and I guess that's what he was getting at this morning. So yeah, 5:22.
Well,
what time did you wake up? 9 a.m.
8:30. Thank you very much.
So you're talking 3
hours. I know, it was
hours
actually
apart.
8. I think it was 8:20. And I would have slept for long, quite honestly. But at nighttime, the whole point of the story was that we have very different routines. So at nighttime, if Chris is being good and healthy, we'll both go to bed at 8:30, right? But Chris will go to sleep at 8:30, and I will watch an episode or 2 episodes or something on my iPad, right? So that would disturb Chris, and Chris gets very angry because
I actually heard your crap last night when I went to bed.
Really? Or he's not being healthy and he's having a couple of beers and staying up a bit later. But either way, I will still go upstairs at the exact same time every single day, regardless. Yeah. But we've just got a different way of doing things.
We do. And the best way to keep each other sane is to have separate bedrooms. And we actually have some friends who live around the corner from us. I seen Christina this morning. Mm-hmm. You probably heard us talk about this problem client of ours before. I seen her this morning. And
they're more often than not in separate bedrooms.
So they now have separate bedrooms.
They're now officially separate bedrooms. But the thing that we both have in common is the choice to have separate bedrooms, because neither of us have children.
Yes.
So we live in our
Yes.
houses with extra bedrooms.
Yes.
Whereas that won't be an option for everybody, and I do understand that. However, the whole point of the story is that when we move house, we have a plan to share a bedroom,
Share a suite.
share an apartment, where we're going to knock through bedrooms. So it's going to be humongous.
Yeah.
With a super king bed, minimum size, super king, separate duvets.
Yep.
Um,
Maybe even separate mattresses joined together.
You could get one of those ones that go up and down because they're separate.
Yeah, I mean, we're still a bit young for that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A dressing room. Yeah.
So imagine taking like an older house that maybe has 2 bedrooms and turning it into one big bedroom that has like a dressing room and stuff.
And sweet. That's the plan.
The problem is, you know what it's like, guys. I'm just going to tell you this. It's going to be a dressing room. I'm going to have a corner of a wardrobe and Rebecca's going to have the rest of it.
Well, if I can fit all of my clothes into the shoebox that I live in right now.
Yep. But it's like anything. If you give me 3 garages, I'm going to
you'll
fill
it with stuff.
With stuff. I keep looking at old cars just now. I was looking at an old Porsche this morning from 1987. Beautiful.
He's also been trying to persuade me to let him buy a motorbike.
Well, it's time. Honey, I found one. No, I'm in talks with the guy and I've already got £500 off.
You better stop being in talks with him. You're not having a...
It's a Ducati.
I don't care. I don't care what it is.
I can finally...
No, because I don't want you to die. So please just don't. Please.
You have that whole bedroom suite to yourself.
Everybody out there knows somebody who's died on a motorbike or has a family member, me included. Not happening.
Okay. Well,
on that cheery note, what are we talking about this week, Chris?
Oh God, I've not even done that.
No.
We're supposed to do that right away.
I know.
Well, you've probably seen the thumbnail or you've still read the title. This week we're talking about...
Time trade-off.
Thank you, because I forgot. Excellent.
Time trade-off.
What is a time trade-off, honey?
So,
I'll tell you what it is. It's me trading my time looking at Rightmove and not finding anything.
Well, so your time trade-off is... What we're trying to focus on here is your time more valuable doing something or paying somebody else or a software or automating something, paying somebody else to do it, or having something else do it for you.
SaaS, software as a service. There you go.
You love an acronym, don't you?
I do.
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, I didn't even know that one. I did know that one, but I didn't. FIFO, first in, first out.
LIFO.
Last in, first out.
LILO.
Last in, first out.
Last in, last out.
Okay, whatever.
So many of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Now, this is something that particularly Chris and I both used to be really bad at this.
Yes.
I have gotten much better recently.
I think I've got worse. I'll be honest with you. Do you know what it is? As you grow older, you learn things. And I learn that people will rip you off.
And they'll let you down.
And they'll let you down.
People do let you down.
So, for instance, if Rebecca and I don't know, pay someone to build a deck for us. When I could have built the deck, Right,
no. And Chris is a very handy person. I'm not going to take that away from you. You can turn your hand to anything except plumbing. Usually doesn't work out so well. But anything, he will turn his hand to it. Gas, I wouldn't recommend that either.
Gas is the only thing that's leaked recently.
Right, the gas. There was a time, guys. There was a time that beside our hob, you can get a special spray. Now, many of you will not know this. Some of you might, if you live with a Chris. A spray which you can spray and it will detect. I guess it changes colour or it makes you be able to see the gas. If the gas is leaking, there was a time, and by a time I mean approximately an 18-month period, that maybe more, that we had to live with a bottle of that beside our hob to spray it into the air to see if the gas was leaking because Chris did the.
Did our house explode?
No, but did our house nearly drown?
That was Dave. Don't even blame me on that.
This was one of the luckiest things that ever happened to us, right?
Totally forgot about that.
Chris installed an outside tap.
I've been trying to do it for ages.
This was years ago.
In fact, it was already installed. It had just broken, the one we had. And I couldn't get the pipe out from under the sink to the outside. We had a couple of friends come over from America.
I did say to Chris, please pay someone to do this. This is a 50 quid job on rated people. Yep. Please just do it.
Doesn't matter. So it was fine. It just stopped working. It stopped working. So I had my friend David and Christine had come over from America. And David's, again, a very handy guy.
Like, handy in the exact same way that Chris is, where the jobs don't get completed.
2 of us tackled it. We fitted the new thing. Everything was fine. We gave them a tour of Scotland. We went to different places, and we came back one day.
Went away for 2 days, 3 days?
Yes.
3 days?
Yep.
So that was the last thing that we pretty much did before we left the house. Then we went away for 3 days. Now, we opened the door and the timing...
Couldn't have been sweeter.
Oh my God. Because if this had happened at the time that we'd left the house would have been written off.
Yeah, for sure.
The house would have been gone because it would have been so badly flooded.
So basically what happened is the valve that you connect from one to the next was plastic and had a crack in it.
Now, we did walk into the house with like a centimetre of water just everywhere.
You know when you walk in, you're like, what's that noise? Yeah, it was water pissing out the actual...
Well, it was all over the floor.
Yeah. And realistically, it didn't even get to like the end of the kitchen. It was only like half in the kitchen. So it must have only happened within the last hour.
Like literally. Maybe not even an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe half an hour.
Which was
So
unreal.
lucky.
I remember just turning the water off, mopping it up, and we went on about our jolly day, but that could have been very, very different.
Very bad. Very bad.
The thing is, it wasn't my fault. It was the plastic's fault. I think Dave over-tightened it. So.
Okay, yeah, sure. But anyway, there's a lot of things like that in our house, you know, like a toilet that we can't use and, you know, just lots of things that Chris has half done. That he's very handy. He can do them all, but are they professional level?
Hang on. Time trade-off. Let's get on to this because you're just picking on me.
No, this is what we're talking about. So what we're saying is somebody else might be better to do the job. Okay. And Chris is usually very bad at this because he wants to do it himself because, like you said, people let him down.
People let me down, charge too much. So, for instance, the deck.
The deck is a joke.
People are going to be on holiday. We got somebody around, they gave us a quote. The quote was reasonable, and the deal was they would do the deck when we were on holiday.
Now,
so
this is the second time this has happened to us.
The good thing about that is they can do it when we're on holiday, so there's less disruption in our life. However, we come back to a deck that was half built. Yep. And a puppy who liked to jump in and out the deck that was half built.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people do let you down, especially tradesmen, I would say.
We've had
car garages as well.
Terrible luck with tradespeople.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So we're going to try and put some put some rights to the wrongs here by talking about what you could and what you should
just
automate.
To make your life more as efficient as it can be as a self-employed nail technician. What are things that you can do to streamline things, but when you should do them as well? Because just because you should do them at a certain point in your career doesn't mean that should be from day one.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the most fundamental and probably the easiest one to flip a switch on. Paper diaries, online booking systems. When should you use a paper diary? If you should, I'm going to say no right away. But should you switch to online or etc.?
So when I was thinking about things to include in like a time trade-off podcast in terms of like nail technicians, I was like, should I include this? But yes, absolutely should, because it makes things so much more efficient for so many reasons. So what is a time trade-off? What's the pros and cons? With a time trade-off thing we're talking about, there's always pros and cons. So the pros of doing a paper diary is you have full control. You know exactly where you're putting each person in each treatment, right? But everything else is a con.
I'm gonna say there is slight issues with that, and that can be, for instance, Rebecca's written down things here. It looks like
you can't read it.
Yeah, you can't read it. Say you write down at 11:30, but you're having a conversation with someone, and you actually meant to write down 10:30. Con right away. Mm-hmm. You've written it down wrong, or you've
written
not
the wrong treatment, maybe.
Yeah. The good thing about it, like for instance, an online diary, quite often there's blocks. Yep. So you'll see visually a block of acrylic nails or of gel nails or something, get in for an hour, whatever, you know. So you know that you're doing it to the right times.
Yep.
So that is a big con of having a paper diary.
I think it's pretty much all cons, to be honest with you. You've got to carry around a diary. You can't put people in at any time.
Remember having to take it home with us?
Yep.
We've done it. We've actually done it. So we are talking sense here.
Have we done it?
Piranha Pedi.
Oh, okay. I don't think there even was such thing as a booking system back then.
It was. And
an online booking system, there wouldn't have been.
Oh, there probably wouldn't. No. We would also, like, for instance, if we didn't take the diary home with us, take a photograph of it so you remember what the next day is going to be. Or if we went in that day, you get a staff member to send a picture of it.
What about that?
There you go. It's all coming back to me now.
But yeah, it's most fundamental, but also like really minor. It's just a reminder that if you don't have an online booking system, what are you doing with your life? And if you are coming to our event, you will be able to meet the owner of Polish Pad, which is a nail-specific booking system, and you can talk to them all about how good their booking system is for nail technicians.
We interchangeably use the words booking system and online diary.
Yes.
A lot of people get very scared when they hear online diary. That means that it's open for anyone to book themselves in. That doesn't necessarily mean that. It can have that option, but basically what we mean is online, as in it's connected to a device where you can physically go in and
cloud-based diary.
Yeah, where you can physically go in and change things from any location in the world.
And this is what you have to remember. It is completely personalized. All of these booking systems that will be out there, I'm 99% sure what I'm saying is true, that it's completely customizable. So for instance, one that we used, we had the salon, and even when I just gave up brows just a couple of months ago, Avatu, we had some treatments that were available to book online. Some weren't. My brows, it was too complicated. And my diary was too full. So that service wasn't available for somebody to book online. They had to physically do it with us.
Like gel polish? No problem.
Yeah, no problem. A brow wax, no problem. But that, just because of how busy it was, and if a gap became available, there was a very specific sort of way that we dealt with that. So yeah, it's completely up to you. You don't have to have anything available to book online. Why you wouldn't, I don't know, because it's going to maximize bookings. But if you want full control over where people are going, you can absolutely do that. But the great thing is that you can do it anywhere.
Yes. You could be lying on a beach somewhere.
Yep.
And if you want to work like Rebecca and I probably would, in fact, sometimes you get the best like work when you're lying on the beach. You definitely can do that. But what it means is, for instance, if someone messages you and you're at home, you have access to it. If you're in Tesco, you have access to it.
Yep.
You can always have access to it.
Yep. Exactly.
So one of the things you highlighted there was, imagine it's like a little gap and you wanted to move things and stuff like that. Who's the best person to do that?
Are you getting onto receptionist now?
I am indeed.
Okay, so one of the best time trade-off things that we ever did for our business was hiring a receptionist.
I would say it's the scariest.
The scariest, but the best. So that was Jennifer. Jennifer, who was our training coordinator, started life with us as our receptionist, then became our salon manager, and now she's our training coordinator for
10 years next year. Can't get rid of her.
Huh?
10 years next year. Can't get rid of her.
Is that actually?
Yep.
Sure.
Yep. We get married 26. In fact, it's this year?
No, it's not, because Rowa's not 10.
Oh.
It must be the year after.
Okay, well.
Anyway.
She's been with us goddamn long time.
A long time, right? So, yes.
Let me just highlight some of the scary things, first of all, and then we'll go on to the good things. Number one, you're paying for what we call a non-productive member of staff.
That's what we always called it.
So, by non-productive, it doesn't mean that they're not doing anything. It means that they're not doing any treatments.
They're not
physical
directly
treatments.
producing money.
Yes. So, what are some of the things that a receptionist would do?
So, in my mind, before we had this, I'm like, they're just going to be answering the phones. Like, what's the point in that? Okay, Rebecca, yeah. All the phone calls that we couldn't answer because we were all sat with treatment. So before we had the receptionist, if the phone rang, somebody who was with a customer would have to get up and do it, or
they wouldn't,
or they wouldn't, or they couldn't. Maybe they were in a room doing an intimate wax or whatever it was. It just wasn't possible. So
just let's highlight some of the things that they could be phoning about. They could be phoning to book an appointment. You've missed that. They could be phoning to cancel an appointment. You've missed that also. They could be phoning to advise that they're going to be 5 minutes late. Is it still okay to take them?
They could be phoning to add on treatment. There could be a million different things. But either way, it is probably going to affect you financially, whatever the phone call is about.
Yeah.
We can say that for sure. The other thing is receptionists can take payments.
Yep.
Rebook people, take people's details. Now, before Jennifer started, I can remember when she started and she was like, so you don't take a phone number? We literally just wrote someone's name in the diary and that was it. Well, put it in the online diary. Literally that. And she's like, you don't have any details for these people. I was like, yeah. So what if they don't turn up? Or what if you need to contact them? What if you want to move them? Huh? So she would take all the details. But the time that it takes to take payment and rebook somebody, well, we didn't have time. So we wouldn't go, would you like to rebook? Because we knew that was going to take up 5 minutes of our time. And we didn't have that time because our next client was sat there because we were the therapists.
The amount of times I've seen one of the girls just put the number on the keypad on the card machine, pop it down and go sit down with somebody else.
Yeah. So the receptionist has time to do all those things. So all of those extra 5 minutes that it's taking you can add up to you doing an extra treatment.
Yeah.
In the day.
I would say that as a single nail tech, having a receptionist would be a stretch.
Yes. So this is the other part what we're going to be talking about with time trade-off is at what point is that something that you might need? So instances of where you would need a receptionist, 99% of the time it's going to be if you are a busy salon.
Yeah.
If you are a salon or salon owner who has multiple staff members, then it's going to be worthwhile. Even potentially if you were a studio, right? If you're a studio that has 4 to 6 nail technicians working in it, that could be a really, really good thing for you as well.
It could be a spinner for
they
sure.
could sit and do all of your different booking systems, right? You all chip in a little bit a day.
The thing is, like with Avatu, you have your own column, right? And every booking system is going to be the same. You, as a nail tech, have your own column. You could all pitch in and get the one booking system, you know, because you all have access to your own apps. And one person sits and controls that and
again,
orchestrates it like a puppet master.
For that person. And the other, do you know what the great thing about it is receptionist as well? Would you like to add a tip? So much more so much more comfortable than you asking. So we had that on our card machine as a pop-up. We did that when everybody, during COVID times when everybody moved away from cash and they went to card. We didn't want our beauty therapists and nail technicians to be losing out on tips. So we installed the prompt onto our card machine. Now, Jennifer would always give instructions to the customer to say, pop your card in, it's going to ask you these questions, answer yes or no, blah, 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 blah. When you're doing it, and I watched myself do it, even into December just passed, right? There was a time Jennifer was off sick and I had to do my own payments, right, for Browse by Becca. And it was so uncomfortable. I would literally skip past the tip question. I would skip past it because I was embarrassed. But Jennifer wouldn't.
Of course not.
So having a receptionist can make you so much more money in tips as well.
I just want to clarify that you had Jennifer as your receptionist, even though you're a single brow person.
I'm going to get onto that in a minute. I'm going to get onto that. It's very different, but I will get onto that. So yeah, that's another thing that receptionists can do. Other thing is receptionists have that great ability and time to juggle everything should anything happen.
Yeah.
Diary Tetris, what we used to call it. So examples of where this is important. A staff member calls in sick.
Yes.
You've got a whole column to arrange. The number of times I have seen Jennifer go bum, 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 bum. And next thing you know, because we were always back to back, we were a busy salon, that full 8-hour day column has now been...
Yeah.
The great thing is that Jennifer was qualified as a nail technician before she came to work. She hadn't been working as a nail technician, but she had the qualifications. So something I would really recommend getting your receptionist to do is even basic training where they can start removals.
100%.
You know, where they can just debulk and wrap the nails.
Yeah.
So that has started a process for you. So if anything happens like that, then they can help with those things. Really, really excellent things.
Think about it. Think of the amount of times you've run over with a client and somebody comes in and they're sitting there eyeballing you. You can feel their eyes burning into you and you know that you can't really speed through what you're doing.
Or maybe you've got up to start their removal, whatever. But a receptionist, that is, I think, something training you can easily do. You know, especially if it's just debulking and wrapping the nails or putting them into soak. Easy. A customer comes in and they've not actually been booked in and suddenly there's loads of things to do. A customer cancels and there's horrible gaps in the day. They can do some of the advertising on social media for you to advertise those gaps. And they can even end up trying to reduce your day down if there's odd cancellations and they're like, do you know what? She's not going to want to hang around until 6 o'clock when she's got a gap between 2 and 4. Let's try and bring that down. Yeah. You know, that's what Jennifer would do for me and for the salon when she worked for the salon. So I think if you are a salon of 4+ people, maybe a bit.
Well, we had 4 when we hired Jennifer, receptionist. Now, granted, we were moving upstairs and we were getting more people. Yeah. But I would say at that point in time, because we were still very young in terms of being a salon, only a couple of years old, we were busy though. Busy days, you know, and to have someone there to just, again, like you said, that 5 minutes of everything, 5 minutes through 10 treatments a day is an hour. Well,
honestly, it's a lot. And if you times that by a number of staff,
yeah.
The other thing is doing a quick sweep here and there. Again, when it's a really, really busy salon, you're back-to-back days, a little sweep, a little dust here, making sure there's toilet paper in the toilet.
Yes.
All of these little things that add to the customer experience. And that's something that we really found when we talked about this previously with the whole, if you're a salon owner, losing staff who are going self-employed and you lose some customers, but they come back. That was probably one of the number one things was it was the offering and the salon experience that we gave, because they felt like they were looked after. They were looked after from the moment they walked in, because Jennifer would welcome them, would check them in, would have a bit of a conversation with them while they were sitting waiting. They would then be taken over by the nail technician. You know, it was more of an experience than you just sat there waiting.
It's also things like, I mean, Jennifer probably won't mind me saying this, but she's very much a busybody. She knew everybody. She knew everybody's business. So to say, oh, how's your kid and how's your dog and all that sort of stuff.
She would make a point of remembering, you know, so she would remember things about people, like you say, and show interest, and people really enjoyed that.
But not only that, not just about their personal life, about personal preferences. So for instance, I always think of spray tans. She would be great to prepare a spray tan room for the next person coming in, you know, and that could be, for instance, you're getting a set of nails done. She's already doing the spray tan thing. You know what it's like if you're a nail tech or a beauty therapist and you're trying to do somebody's nails and then you have to go do a spray tan and you have to scrub yourself after it and everything else. Just having that extra member of staff there is great. One thing I'm going to say is, because I know we're going to come back to things like receptionists, juniors. not something you've written down there.
Oh, it's a good one. We'll come back to that one. But like Chris touched on, I had Jennifer continue as a receptionist or assistant for me when I just went down to when we sold the salon and I was just doing brows myself part-time. And the reason was I was so incredibly busy with the brows, but also nail order, that it made complete sense. If you were a nail tech on what you'd be earning as a nail tech compared to a semi-permanent makeup artist, it wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't be able to pay somebody else's wage.
Yeah. So give me an idea of a day in terms of like how much were you for? I know you were only really doing top ups at the very end there. And how long would it take you to do a top up? So they were booked in for like a half hour, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as that customer's up off the bed, Jennifer's doing all the rest of the booking them in, taking the payment, and everything else. You're doing the husbandry.
I was cleaning down my room and getting ready for the next, because obviously with the semi-permanent makeup, well, I mean, with a nail tech as well, there's a level of cleaning down and stuff that you've got to be doing.
But when it comes to tattooing people's faces,
it's a little bit more
different.
Yeah. So that's what I would be doing, and then the next customer would already probably be out there.
Yeah.
So.
And you, during the space of a 10-hour day, you'd easily be able to see an extra few customers, which would then pay for Jennifer's wage.
Oh yeah, so I mean, in a day, maybe you'd say every 3 customers, I would lose a customer if I didn't have Jennifer.
All right, there you go.
If it's a half an hour appointment, I'd be losing 10 minutes between my cleaning, and checking somebody out and rebooking them in. So that would be every 3 customers, another customer. So it made total sense.
So that's the thing you've got to work out. That's the time trade off.
The time trade off.
How much is it going to cost you throughout the space of a day is always a good gauge.
Yeah. How many clients are you losing?
Or how many could you see extra?
How many could you see extra?
And does that pay for that person's wage?
Yes. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, Jennifer would be very good as well. She would go get Rebecca lunch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all those things.
And if we were, until the last sort of year, never had a lunch break. So she would, if I was having something warm, she'd have that ready for me.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy, but we were running a tight back-to-back ship. So yeah.
Jennifer bought me a sandwich yesterday and I'm very thankful for it because it was delicious. Juniors. You've not got it written down here.
Yes, but it's of the same ilk as receptionist in that they might not be productive, but they are on the training path to be productive. There's maybe slightly more they can do treatment-wise than a receptionist, depending on the receptionist that you have. But again, it's all of those little things. Maybe, the removals, getting treatments set up and doing like cleaning things as well.
Yeah. I think juniors are great, especially in the salon because there's multiple treatments and quite often they'll come from college doing multiple treatments. Usually after college, people start to niche down or if they're doing set training courses.
That's the thing with a junior. You can cover their wages very easily by offering some appointments out to them. It doesn't have to be a full day. It could be
just removals, for
example. Or it could be just a few different appointments and whatever they're trained in at a model type price.
Yeah.
So you can cover their wages by that.
Yeah. So I would say a receptionist is great, but if you're maybe 1 or 2 nail techs, maybe share in the studio,
a junior
would
is
be great.
Excellent as well. Yeah, it could be a sort of halfway between a bit cheaper than a receptionist, but they would also kind of have to have all those skills as well. Maybe not quite as much as a receptionist, but a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I'm glad I thought of that. Great. One that I'm going to bundle together, and I feel like we're starting to rush through it now, but I think these are very niche, so we'll keep them brief. Wages and accounts.
Okay, yeah.
Payroll and accounts.
So I am going to say if you are employing under 15 people.
Holy smokes. Everyone's just thought, maybe 3, maybe 4 people.
Oh my God, no. Get a grip.
Yeah, you do not need to run payroll. Sorry, you can run payroll.
You should run payroll.
Yeah.
I've only just stopped running nail order payroll.
Honey, you were doing payroll yesterday.
This is what I was about to say. But it still requires, even though I'm not entering the thing, it still requires my input because the person doing the payroll, so the bookkeeper, if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant, they're not working in your business with you. So you still need to provide them with all the information, right? And even so for a nail order, we have a clock in, clock out timesheets, time card system, right? And I approve all the time cards. So number 1, I've still got to do all that. And number 2, I have to still provide with a whole load of information. So if there's any levers, I need to provide with all that information. Starters, need to provide with all that information. Somebody's got some overtime, somebody's got a deduction, somebody's got this, that, and the next thing. Somebody didn't turn up to work. I've still got to give all of that information. Some, at this point, might I as well be doing that? Okay, when you're getting to like over 20 people, there is a few other things you think, okay. But do not, if you employ 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, hear me now.
You hear me now?
Do not pay an accountant or a bookkeeper to do it.
Do not.
Do not do it.
That is a big,
simple,
huge waste.
It is cheap. And just do it. It is so cheap. You'll have your payroll system, which is probably, I don't know, between £10 and £20 a month. It connects direct to HMRC. It's sending all the information over. And all you need to do is enter the number of hours and press submit, and that is it. Done.
Right now is probably the easiest time ever to do it. So we're talking Sage, QuickBooks, Xero, quite a lot of these software. You said like £10, £20. With the business bank accounts like Tide, for example, and Monzo, you get a lot of them for free.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're employing over 20 people, I mean, our payroll software is like £21 a month.
Yeah.
You know, and you're starting to get into like bigger numbers. So, yeah, that is a time trade-off that is not a time trade-off. It is better for you to do it. For the amount of time, especially if you're talking about employing 3, 4, 5, 6 people, guys, that's going to take you half an hour at the end of the month.
And realistically, you're doing most of the work anyway.
You are. You would spend at least that half an hour providing all the information and writing that email.
Yeah.
You would. Honestly, you would.
Which is ridiculous.
And honestly, I'm still like, is it easier me just doing it because I know all the information in my head? And I always send like a long email at the end of the month, like, hi, Justina, blah, 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 blah. Here's all your payroll information. And then within half an hour, this has happened every single time. I'm like, oh, and I forgot this. And then half an hour later, oh, and I forgot this.
I was going to say that as you're entering the numbers into the actual software, you'll remember all these things that you've just forgotten about.
Yep, exactly. Because I'm like, oh, Christopher, he actually, I was actually talking about you. He has, he's on the Tassimo Club now because he drinks espresso.
I will not lower myself to the Tassimo Club. I don't pay for these things. You pay me. Vending machine's coming soon.
No.
I'm going to get a clicks machine, that's what I could.
But yeah, so I would say that is not a time trade-off worth paying somebody to do unless you are, over 15 people, I would say.
Honey, did you have to pay people twice this month?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't done right properly first time?
Do you know what? See, if I'd done it, this is the thing, right? We're trying to really streamline everything by having all these separate softwares that do everything for us. However, there's still a human element involved, which is number one, the staff clocking in and out, which more than 50% of the time they are forgetting.
I just seen the price of that app. That's expensive as hell.
How much is it?
£75 a month.
Yes.
That's expensive.
It's based on per employee. But this app that Chris is talking about will not only do our clocking in, clocking out, time cards, it'll track people's leave. People can put in leave requests. I can make the rota, and it also works as a Asana. You can also do employee onboarding. It'll talk to your payroll system. It does everything. It's
okay.
Great.
Have you saved any money by staff not clocking in properly?
Do you know where I've saved money? I'll tell you.
Go on.
People being late.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So yes, I have.
Okay.
Because they're late. So they're not getting paid for it. Whereas before, if it was just on the rota, I'd be like, oh, hang on a minute. They're meant to start at 10.
Screw it.
They started at 10. I'm not going to remember Katie, mold.
Katie.
I'm not going to remember the 3 times a week that Katie is late. Do you know what I mean?
Only watch 4 days.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's well worth it. And you,
Honey,
with the rota and everything like that.
No, I get it. I just need you to justify it to me, to the listeners.
Yeah, yes, to you. And that's the thing. Chris doesn't take anything to do with anything accounts, HR based. Chris does nothing.
I'll tell you what, see if it was accounts, the government would be getting nothing.
Literally. Every time the VAT bill comes around, he goes, guys, this isn't, I'm not exaggerating. And this is word for word what Chris says. Every single quarter, I'll say, you're right, Chris, the VAT bill is this much. He goes, we can't pay that. We're not paying that. We can't pay that. I was like, but we have to.
But the thing is, it's so flipping ridiculous. And right now, it's beyond.
VAT is ridiculous, but you've got to remember that you are just an agent working for the government.
Yes,
so every
and
time
I should be a secret agent and keep it. I could be the James Bond of the VAT companies.
So back to the question at hand. Wages, do them yourself, right? Accounts.
I'm going to say something.
Oh, no.
Accounts.
If you're self-employed, do it yourself.
If you have up to 50 members of staff, you can still be doing it yourself, especially if you don't want to pay VAT. The thing is, I'll be honest with you. See all this, having an accountant and all that and a bookkeeper, they just make you want to, like, they actually say you have to pay this.
Yeah.
And they have to pay it on time.
Yeah. But if you have a tax inspection, they'll also help you.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I suppose.
So
One thing I will say about accounts is it's very important that you do it, and it's very important you stay up to date with it. So if you can have as much help as possible, one thing I would say is accountancy software right now, like I said before, is the best that it's ever been. If you go to, say, salon services, I know probably most of you guys don't, and you buy a pack of nail files, which is probably going to be overpriced, and you should really buy them from Nail Order, you can snap the receipt right there and then, and it takes it and you can sort it out at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Whereas days gone by, I would have taken that receipt and put it in my jean pocket and then washed my jeans and forgot all about it.
Yeah.
Can't get the money back.
So it's a tough one with accounts. Like, it's very, very, very easy for you to do it yourself. Very, very, very easy. An accountant will tell you otherwise, and they will encourage you not to.
Of course, because that's their job.
It is.
That's their time trade-off.
Sometimes I will say, if you're self-employed, my God.
Yeah. It's easy if you're self-employed.
It really is.
There's, again, software for you to do it.
It really is so much easier.
It's easier for you to pay the software companies, like Sage or QuickBooks or Xero or someone like that. Or you can, do you know what? For another company we had up until very recently, I was using a completely free accountancy software. Now, granted, I forgot to file the accounts, but that's another story for another day.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
yeah, it's that is a tough one. But the problem is that you are always going to have to do work.
Yeah.
If you have somebody else doing that for you, you've still got to provide them with all the information, which takes your time anyway. So it's kind of like you might as well have just done it yourself.
Yep.
There is no time to be traded off.
Good point, darling.
Do you know what I mean? There's no time to be traded.
I do. You should get back to that in sec, Justina. Next up, social media. Now, this is a really tricky one.
It is. And what I would say again is it comes back to the how big is your outfit situation. If you are on your own, why are you paying someone to do your social media?
Because maybe you're not very good at it.
Get good at it.
You heard it here first, guys.
You got to put in the time, put in the experience. Nobody starts great at anything, but put in the hours to get good at it is what I would say.
So
the thing is, right? See, if you're not very good at social media, but you've got a back-to-back diary.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Who even cares?
I was going to say,
but if you are not very good at it and you don't have a back-to-back diary, you certainly cannot be paying you don't have the time to be the money to be paying somebody else to do it. So what you do have though is time. The social media thing, when we had the salon in the latter years, we did take on somebody to do social media. She was kind of, we really like to multi-use. You know how Nail Order loves...
We like to abuse people.
No. You know how Nail Order loves multi-purpose products? We also love multi-purpose people.
Yep.
So maybe we'll take on somebody for a job, but they maybe have another skill that we can use.
We love looking at CVs and be like, we can...
Oh, yeah, they're maybe hiring for one specific job, but we can maybe see something else.
We can use them here. In fact, let me tell you a story about someone we've taken for a job interview recently. Rebecca looked at the CV for this person who was going to be working in a warehouse, and they had an accountancy background. And Rebecca thought to herself, I can potentially use that person. That person happened to turn up for an interview 2 weeks before the interview was even given to him.
I haven't even offered
then the week after, again, just to come and have a look at the warehouse.
Just kept turning up. Yeah.
And then on the day of the interview, still tried to get out of it, but he turned up on the day of the interview and took a leak outside the warehouse. Yep.
When one of the staff was walking the dogs past them. So there is that.
So always be careful with CV.
Maybe they're listening to this, so maybe we shouldn't put it in.
Well, it's in now. Top tip: don't pee outside Nail Order.
Top tip: don't pee outside on the street. It's insulting.
Yes,
and
especially when the young girls
are around. For me, as a woman, I find it really offensive.
Because you're jealous.
Partially. No, I do. I find it really offensive.
Yes,
I find it really, really, really offensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, social media, yeah. And so we hired somebody, and it was around the same time as Nail Order started. So she was working part-time for Nail Order and part-time for the salon. So that worked really, really well for us.
Yeah.
And
so in terms of salon size at that point in time, was it kind of about 9-10 members of staff?
Somewhere around there, 9, 10, 11.
Predominantly nails?
Predominantly nails, but we did everything.
Brows, lashes, etc.
It was great to have somebody to make content for you that, because we were so busy, we didn't have time to do.
Yeah. How many times did you ask the girls to remember to get a picture of those nails?
Oh my God.
And they wouldn't do it. They would just forget.
But that's why we had a receptionist.
Yes.
And she was great for that. But then the person who worked for us would post it, made all the templates for availability.
Story templates is a great one.
Story templates, made some reels. etc., etc. I think the thing is, if you've got somebody doing social media for you for a salon, it's a very part-time job. It doesn't need to be something that it's never going to be a full-time job, no matter how big or busy your salon is. I was going to say, even if you had multiple salons, because your story templates are going to be the same.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not going to send them the message to be like, oh, I've got cancellations at this time. No,
the templates, they'll make the templates for you to then do
it. So I think it is a good trade-off if you are a big, busy salon.
Yes, I would agree.
But if you have somebody else who has time to do it, then of course as well, like TikTok, TikTok wasn't a thing. Did TikTok even exist? No.
Musical.ly.
Huh?
Musical.ly.
Don't know what that is. But so TikTok didn't exist. Now there's a whole other market. I mean, yes, TikTok, you could literally be having somebody to do that full time for you. Is that going to bring in business and make money? Unlikely.
Potentially, but not. It's not going to be like for like.
And it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed. So yeah, granted you have that. Also, actually, in saying that, you've got TikTok Shop, where you could have somebody social media employed and they do TikTok Shop, upload all your retail items. So your cuticle oil, sanitizers, maybe you sell fake tan or lashes and stuff like that as well. So that is something, I guess maybe there is like a full-time position these days.
Yeah. So is there any other positions within?
Gosh, there's probably hundreds and hundreds, but what you need to weigh up is, do you have time to do it? Not do you physically have time to do it? Do you have reasonable time to do it?
Yes.
Right? So if you're already working in the salon yourself, say you're a salon owner, say you're working in there yourself 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, you're coming home, you're doing admin and stuff at night and dealing with all the staff things, because you're the salon manager essentially as well. And the salon manager, that's a whole other position that you could...
you could hire out.
I would say, though, arguably, salon manager is a double up job. It's not a standalone job. So your salon manager is going to probably be your receptionist or a senior therapist. No, it's not really a standalone position unless you're
huge,
humongous. So there's that as well.
There's one thing I'm going to say for everything that we've done there, and this is what I'm trying to round up to. Right now, I think the best way, not so much time trade-off and money trade-off, is a trade swap.
Trade swaps are good.
Trade swap. Now, you think about it. If you have someone who comes into your place to get their nails done, and they are a bookkeeper by profession.
Yeah, that's what Laura used to do. So Laura had to do her lashes, and then her bookkeeper her accountant's lashes, and then the accountant would do her stuff for her. That's great.
If someone's into social media, they're a young bunny and they want to get into it, and you do their nails, maybe you could do a trade swap.
100%.
They come in and spend a Saturday morning with you, something like that. It doesn't have to be full time. They make some story templates on Canva for you, something like that, where you give them their nails for free and they give you that in return.
Yeah, totally agree.
The only thing, I mean, the reception is probably the hardest one to do, but what you can do is see a wee old ma who's going to retire soon.
That's another great one. Absolutely.
Get her in.
Yes.
You can pay her a little bit. You can do her nails for you. She'll be happy to get out of the house because your dad's talking about golf or something like that. So, yeah.
So, the way that you're going to work out is, first, do you have the time to be completing whatever? Okay, no, first, do you believe that there is somebody else who could complete, or a software who could complete the task better and more efficiently than you?
Yes.
Right. Next question is, do you have the reasonable time to be completing the task? By that, what I'm saying is, if you aren't that busy as a person, being self-employed, don't waste your money. Do it yourself.
Yes.
Right? So do you have the reasonable time? If you're like, no, it's not reasonable time. I'm working 7 days a week. I'm working 8 hours a day. I'm coming home. I'm doing another 3-4 hours of admin. That's not reasonable. You're probably needing some help at that point. Can that other person that you are introducing either make more than enough money to cover make enough money to cover their salary plus some, or can they give you time back that will allow more money to be made in other areas?
Yes.
And you need to judge it all that way. I think sometimes there can be a tendency for people to just be like, I'm just going to hire someone just so I don't have to do anything at all. It's like, at what point you're not running a business? Like, if you have a business and all you're doing is just having people do all those things, eventually the business it might take a while. It's not not going to run very well, and it's probably going to lose money eventually, I would say.
The thing is, I don't know if you've ever heard the term a lean startup. Nail Order was a lean startup where we had technically only one person employed to begin with, and it wasn't Rebecca and I, even though we were working in the business. Jennifer pitched in, you and I did it, but we paid that social media person.
That was the only employee.
And then we got warehouse.
Two part-time warehouse people.
Yeah, and it was very lean because, again, they were on the minimum hours that we needed them for, or sorry, the maximum hours that we could afford to pay them for. And every time we got profit, it didn't go to Rebecca and I, it went just straight back into the company to build the company up. Now
because as you guys know, if you're listening to this, Nail Order has, grown into something different, pretty much every year since it started.
And it will continue to do, especially with all this new stuff that we've got coming. But yeah, I mean, like we've only recently started taking a wage from it. And even at that, it's a relatively modest wage, I would say, And I would say like the profit that Nail Order makes is good, far too much because we pay far too many taxes. But all that profit just goes straight back into the company to develop more products, more exciting products, better prices.
Imagine how many great more products we could do if we didn't have to pay all the taxes.
Imagine the Ducati I could have if we didn't have to pay those taxes.
Imagine the Ducati you could have if you had a different wife.
Yep, same Ducati.
So yeah, you got to work it out for your business I think for businesses to succeed, like the person who started the business, for the most part, needs to always have like a good foot in the door. Otherwise your business just runs away from you and doesn't, you have no idea what's actually going on.
Yep. I do this, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't spend as much time in the warehouse as I would like to in terms of the pick and packing warehouse. Because sometimes I'm in Unit 6 on the forklift just scooting about, listening to podcasts and stuff.
Moving pallets from one place to another and back again.
Oh, we can actually talk about the other place today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll talk about that in a second. And sometimes I feel like I miss out on what's going on in there, not in terms of the gossip and everything else. I don't care who's, shacked up with who else. Nah, nobody actually does that. Who's going on holiday? Who's going? It's like an episode of EastEnders there. Who's like going on holiday or who's going on a night out and everything else? Who's been invited to a new cafe opening? Not Rebecca, Alex. But yeah, sometimes I feel like I went to look for something. I was picking something the other day and I couldn't find it. I was like, where the heck are they? They'd moved it. But they'd probably moved it like a week ago and I hadn't picked that item. I'd probably been picking other things, but I hadn't picked that item.
Talking which, I'm going to have to do some shifts before these to...
Yeah. Just to get yourself up to speed where everything is, And I think it is always good because you can't get in and start barking orders if you're not there to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part. Yeah.
So yeah, time trade-off. It's got to weigh up those things.
I would say that if you do want to expand though, sometimes you've got to hire for the future. You've got to maybe think 6 weeks, 6 months in advance.
I think particularly for our type of business.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. We decided last year that if we're not overstaffed, we're understaffed. And then we've been overstaffed now, feeling like we're getting understaffed again. But we'll see
how the Easter sale treats us and how our new property treats us. Okay, let's do it. We've got 5 minutes left. Well done, Rebecca. You've not only taken Unit 5 and Unit 6, you've also taken Unit 4 and 4B.
Well, it's not Rebecca, it's everybody.
Okay, it's me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've got another warehouse, guys. We've got warehouse number 3. So we're going to have 3 identical warehouses.
You said warehouse 3?
Yeah, 3 warehouses.
Oh, 3. So yeah, so one whole side of the industrial park, one whole bit chunk.
I just want to put in context of how scary this is. This is a time trade-off type of thing. That when we took warehouse 5, which is the middle warehouse, Unit 5, I remember thinking to myself, can we afford this? No, we needed the space.
Oh, no, yeah. Well, we couldn't really afford it at the time, but we knew that within 6 months we would need it, but also we didn't want somebody else to take it and us miss out on the opportunity. That's the thing. You have to speculate to accumulate to be successful in business. You need to, number one, not sweat the small stuff. And number 2, speculate to accumulate. You need to be forward thinking and think what's going to happen in the future, because it would be really difficult for us if we needed to expand and somebody else had taken a unit because we didn't take it 6 months earlier, when yes, it was a bit of a stretch financially.
You're talking about warehouse 6. I was talking about just 5 in general.
I mean, yeah.
So we had 5 and then a year later 6 became available. Now, as soon as it became available, Rebecca and I, we have to take it. We didn't at that point in time, we didn't need it, but we didn't want anybody else to get into it. At that point in time, before, there was a kind of car performance specialist in it, a car
But the
valeting
other
type
thing
thing.
was, it was bad timing in terms of like the gel polish, which had already stretched us really financially anyway.
Right now, we are out of space, and the fact that Unit 4 has come up, and the fact that the landlord didn't even advertise it, just came and said, "Do you guys want it?" We're like, "Yep, we're going to take it." Comes with a separate office that's already built out, which is going to be the new training academy, which is
We already have that, but we absolutely have to get on that this week. Have. We must go to see Pat on
for custom furniture
Tuesday or Wednesday.
So yeah, we're going to have a new massive staff area with vending machines. You probably heard me talking about it.
And we're building offices. Oh my God, I am so excited about the offices because right now it's like musical chairs down there because there is absolutely zero space.
Yeah.
Jennifer's having to work from home apart from 2 days of the week, although she could technically work in the training academy, which would be her office. Yeah, it's a lot.
I've pretty much just been kicked off my chair.
Out.
So
your chair.
Yeah, so I'm back in the warehouse. Now, don't get me wrong, the VIP suite, which we've referred to before, which is a new training academy, is very luxurious up there already.
It's got its own kitchen and it's very nice.
BJ and I have been up there a couple of days. BJ is our web developer, and him and I are just listening to like little beats, just like kicking out.
Love that beats.
Yeah.
But I am really excited. I'm excited to get the keys, right? Because I'm excited to see an empty unit. Obviously, I get to see these units every single day.
It's not going to be empty, Annie.
Why?
Because Harry's stuff's going to be in it for the next month.
I thought the sex toys were all gone.
Sex toys are gone. Oh, I'm not going to tell people the sex toys, but Harry used to sell sex toys. But no, so we've got a deal. Harry's going to be leaving. So Harry's Unit 4. He's going to be working.
It's not a lot of stuff though, right?
It's about 6 pallets. But the racking's going to go up, so it's not going to make a difference. It's not really going to influence us.
6 pallets. He's going to still pay some rent.
No, because he's going to donate all the stuff that's in there. So, for instance, he's going to donate quite a lot of racking, low level racking, which we're going to need anyway. More importantly, that big, massive heater, big gas heater.
We need a double level office.
We'll discuss that. Tell you what, you get me a Ducati, I'll give you a double level office. I think that's fair, guys.
I want my husband to be alive. If you think that Chris should not drive a motorbike and you agree with Becca, say, I agree with Becca in the comments, please, guys, because we want Chris to be alive.
It's just crickets, honey. No, at the end of the day, honey, I need a new motorbike and an airplane and a boat.
You're not... Midlife crisis, here we come.
Okay, so that's what's happening with Nail Order. Thankfully, we can get it out. It's been, 3-4 months we've known about that? And
yeah, maybe since November, actually.
Yeah.
December?
I'm sure we've discussed this. We are going to have to move somewhere eventually, but I reckon 2030 would be a good time. 5 years.
Yeah.
I think we're sound for 5 years.
We're going to put some doors in between the units as well, I think.
Maybe.
A lot to do.
Or a tunnel from the back fire exits.
Nah.
Okay.
Internal doors.
Excellent.
So yes, it's all very exciting. Very, very, very exciting.
And that's one of the things. It's like we know. I mean, I could build the offices, but I know time trade off. I don't have enough time.
And quality trade off.
So we're gonna have to get people.
I'm just gonna say, right, this room that we did here, it took us a very, very, very long time.
4 weeks.
And no, it was
4 weekends.
No, it was a lot more than that. It took us all weekend, every weekend. It's not even finished. The outside is obviously like a shack.
Okay, guys, I know what you're thinking. It's time to get out of here because we've been talking for an hour. So Rebecca's gonna. What are we doing for the rest of the day, honey?
Just relaxing because.
Oh, you're relaxing. I'm editing podcasts and videos, Synergel.
Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and
Are you going away tomorrow?
I'm going to go see my mum for like an hour because we've got the launch of Synergel tomorrow.
You know what that means, boys and girls. Chris gets to sit and watch some Formula One with a beer, all quiet.
What, if I leave at like 10 o'clock, you're watching Formula One with a beer?
If you can say I can, if you're leaving at 10, that means I can get a beer at 10.
You are not having beer. Do you know how many times you've mentioned beer in the last couple of podcasts?
I know. I don't know why. I'm missing it.
You're missing it. You haven't had it in about 12 hours.
Yeah, I'm missing it. And I need another espresso. So on that caffeinated bombshell, honey, I feel like I'm from Top Gear. Do you want to get us the heck out of here?
As always, guys, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let us know what you would like us to talk about in the comments below. Hopefully you've got your hands on Synergel by now. Let us know how you like it. And please subscribe to be notified when we release the next episode.
Nail text, talking game, keeping it real, y'all gon' feel. From the signs to the drama, every secret they reveal. Stay sharp, stay tuned, man, you know it's the deal.